Hello everyone. Today we are diving into the captivating chapter of nationalism in India. Are you ready for an exciting journey through the history of Indian nationalism? Buckle up and get ready for an unforgettable ride. Let's get started. As you know, modern nationalism in Europe was all about the formation of nation states and redefining identities. It was a process of discovering who we are and what brings us together. Symbols, songs, and ideas forged new links, transforming communities and their boundaries. Well, guess what? The story of nationalism in India is just as fascinating. How did this consciousness emerge in India? Let's find out. In India, just like in many other colonies, modern nationalism grew alongside the fight against colonialism. The oppression of colonial rule created a shared bond among diverse groups who longed for freedom. But here is the twist. Each class and group experienced colonialism differently with their own unique ideas of what freedom meant. It was like a beautiful mosaic of perspectives within the struggle for independence. Now, in our earlier textbook, we explored the growth of nationalism in India until the early 20th century. In this series, we are picking up the story from the 1920s and delving into two significant movements, the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement. We will uncover how the Indian National Congress worked to develop the national movement, the participation of various social groups, and how nationalism ignited the imagination of the people. But before we dive deeper, let's set some learning objectives for today. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand the emergence of nationalism in India, analyze the impact of the First World War, evaluate Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of Satyagraha, examining the causes and consequences of the Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and explore the role of the Khilafat issues in the national movement. That's quite a list, but I have faith in your ability to master it all. Now, let's get down to business. Picture this, the aftermath of the First World War. India faced a new economic and political reality. Defense expenditure skyrocketed, taxes increased, and prices soared, leading to immense hardship for the common people. During that time, villages were called upon to supply soldiers, and forced recruitment in rural areas caused widespread anger. Then, in 1918-19 and 1920-21, crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortage of food. This was accompanied by an influenza epidemic. According to the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people perished as a result of famines and the epidemic. People hoped that their hardship would end after the war was over. But did their struggle end with the war? Oh no, my dear students, the challenge were far from over. Then enter Mahatma Gandhi, a true revolutionary who returned to India in 1915 after successfully battling the racist regime in South Africa. He brought with him the powerful concept of Satyagraha, a philosophy that emphasized truth, non-violence, and appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. Through non-violence and the pursuit of justice, Gandhi believed that a righteous cause could triumph without physical force. Mahatma Gandhi, fresh off his arrival in India, filled with passion and determination, set to organize Satyagraha movement across the country. His goal? To empower the people and challenge oppressive system. And boy, did he make an impact. In 1917, Gandhi embarked on a journey to Champaran in Bihar. What awaited him there? An oppressive plantation system that enslaved the peasants. Gandhi saw their struggle and knew he had to act. With his incredible charisma and unwavering belief in non-violence, he inspired the peasants to rise up and fight against this injustice. But Gandhi didn't stop there. In the same year, he traveled to the Kheda district of Gujarat. The peasants there were facing a double whammy, crop failure and a plague epidemic. They were unable to pay the revenue and were demanding relief. Can you guess what Gandhi did? He organized a powerful satyagraha to support these brave peasants. Now fast forward to 1918, Gandhi arrived in Ahmedabad, ready to ignite change once again. This time, his focus was on the cotton mill workers. These hard-working individuals faced harsh working conditions and were often exploited. But Gandhi, with his firm determination, organized a satyagraha movement to stand up for their rights. Can you imagine the impact Gandhi had on the lives of these peasants and mill workers? His philosophy of non-violence, his belief in the power of truth, and his ability to connect with the common people transformed their struggle into powerful movements for change. Now, I want you to imagine being in the shoes of those brave peasants and mill workers. How would you feel? What challenge would you face? Your task is to write a short journal entry from their perspective, capturing the emotions, hardship, and the hope that Gandhi's Satyagraha movement brought into their lives. Through his effort, Gandhi brought together people from diverse backgrounds, uniting them under the common goal of freedom and Swaraj. His ability to mobilize and empower the masses played a significant role in shaping the Indian national movement and inspiring millions to join the struggle for independence. In 1919, Mahatma Gandhi, inspired by the success of his previous endeavor, decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the Rowlatt Act. This act passed despite strong opposition from the Indian members, granted the government sweeping powers to suppress political activities and detain individuals without trial for 2 years. Gandhi believed in non-violent civil disobedience to challenge such unjust laws. The call for satyagraha resounded across the country. Rallies were organized, workers in railway workshops went on strike, and shops closed down. The popular upsurge rattled the British administration, leading them to take drastic measures to maintain control. Local leaders were arrested in Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi himself was barred from entering Delhi. But the people's resistance couldn't be silenced. On April 10, 1919, in Amritsar, the police opened fire on a peaceful procession, sparking widespread attacks on banks, post offices, and railway stations. The situation escalated further when martial law was imposed and General Dyer assumed command. On April 13, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident unfolded. A large crowd had gathered at Jallianwala Bagh, unaware of the martial law in place. Dyer, with the intent to instill fear and awe, blocked the exit and opened fire on the innocent crowd, resulting in the loss of hundreds of lives. The news of Jallianwala Bagh spread like wildfire, igniting protests and strikes in many northern Indian towns. People clashed with the police, government buildings were attacked, and violence gripped the streets. In response, the government resorted to brutal repression, imposing humiliation and terror upon the people. Satyagrahis were forced to endure unimaginable humiliations, crawling on the streets, rubbing their noses on the ground, and saluting the sahibs. People were subjected to flogging, and villages were even bombed. Witnessing the escalating violence and suffering, Mahatma Gandhi made the difficult decision to call off the movement. My eager learners, but our story doesn't end there. The Rowlatt Satyagraha may have begun in cities and towns, but Gandhiji knew that for real change to occur, Hindus and Muslims needed to unite. And how did he plan to do that? By taking the Khilafat issue. Let's set the stage again. Imagine the First World War's aftermath with the Ottoman Turkish defeat. Rumors spread about a harsh peace treaty that might take away the Ottoman Emperor, the Khalifa's powers. The Khalifa was like a very respected leader in the Islamic world. It is kind of like a special title for a leader who had a lot of spiritual significance for Muslims. To defend these temporal powers, a Khilafat committee formed in Bombay in March 1919. The Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, and other young Muslim leaders discussed a united mass action with Gandhi. For Gandhi, this was not just an issue, it was an opportunity to weave Muslims into the fabric of a unified national movement. At the Calcutta Congress session in September 1920, he presented his idea, convincing other leaders of the need for a non-cooperation movement that supported Khilafat and Swaraj. And guess what? Mahatma Gandhi's idea worked. At the Calcutta session, the non-cooperation movement was born. It aimed to boycott British institutions, surrender titles, and boycott foreign goods. It was a powerful message of non-cooperation that struck at the very root of British rule. We will continue that story in our next class. In today's class on nationalism in India, we covered a wide range of topics. We explored the emergence of nationalism in India and how it differed from European nationalism. The fight against colonialism brought diverse groups together, forming a mosaic of perspective within the struggle for independence. We discussed the growth of nationalism in the 1920s through movements like Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad Mill Strike. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of non-violence and Satyagraha played a crucial role, empowering the masses and uniting Hindus and Muslims through the Khilafat issue. Our learning objective focused on understanding the implications of historical events. We examine the aftermath of the First World War, Mahatma Gandhi's return to India, and the impact of the Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. We recognize the sacrifice made by those who fought for independence. So, my dear students, this chapter in our history reminds us of the sacrifices and resilience of our people. It shows the power of non-violence resistance against oppressive laws and the determination of individuals like Mahatma Gandhi to fight for justice. Remember, history teaches us valuable lessons. Let's reflect on the courage of those who stood up against injustice and let their spirit inspire us to create a better future. Now, my dear student, your task is to create a visual representation of the key events we discussed today. Be creative. You can make a poster, infographic, or even a slideshow. Use images, captions, and brief explanation to convey the significance of each aspect. Let your artistic skill shine and make your project visually captivating. That's all for today. Until then, goodbye. See you again.